Quay greetings. Welcome to another video. We're gonna try not to, keep people in the frame so much, but there's the children park. No, I'm not sitting around waiting for children to show up. Let's not go there, please. But in terms of being American Indian, it is about the future, generations. Will they be under the same type of shenanigans that we are under for eternity? So I kind of thought maybe we'd think about the children. Remember, we're not using legalese, so when we say children, we don't mean chattel slavery and some kind of crazy shit in the freaking legal freaking dictionary, because what we are abolishing legal dictionaries, and we are side-eyeing a regular American dictionaries. Those dictionaries didn't come around till we were colonized. It's all up for elimination. Yes. Oh, y'all gonna learn how to be free with Haru in the house, yo. Haru don't like being a slave, in case y'all haven't figured it out. And if you find yourself, really having trouble with anything I'm saying, it's because you're again, the best example we have of an institution man is from that film, The Shawshank Redemption. Morgan Freeman's character was an institution man almost. He tried to kill himself. Sorry, this is a spoiler alert. He got let out of prison, but he didn't know how to be free. And it became a situation where he wanted to end it. And this is where I think many American Indians unknowingly are. How are you ending your life as an American Indian who wishes to stay under colonization to the point where you don't even know what freedom is anymore, or have no clue what it even looks like, because you're letting a dead entity rule your entire everything about you. Commerce has the effect of removing everything you could possibly know to be yours, and it owns your life. Because really, after you surrendered all your rights, waived all your rights to be in a corporate thing, it can kill you. I'm talking about literally, y'all. You got to think about some of our leaders who, let's take Malcolm for an example. And I'm speaking freely how I think that went down. This is not that I am saying this actually happened, but the framework is there. Now, when you join, keyword being join, an entity that requires you to sign perhaps an oath a blood oath or requires you to waive your whatever rights you have, because we're so commercial right now in the quote-unquote United States. That is why they could, for instance, force you to compromise your life with a jab. You know what I'm talking about. Matter of fact, we could leave it right there. Why am I making this more complicated than it need be? You have been so under commercial dominion that when the entities of commerce, the corporations, and together with your government, decide that you have to put something in your body that you may have not wanted in your body. Baby, that's genocide. The point is, when there's no law of the land, this is what will happen. Now, they will do it real quick now. They're going to be quick with it. And then they're going to pretend that they thought it was wrong afterwards. But see, after that, it's too late. It's too late. You have allowed them to, what did I say earlier? Take your life. Compromise your life. Maybe compromise your life till you don't want your life because you can't remember anything. That's what I deal with. My dear friend, I told you about her. You know how many times I had to talk out of suicide? You know how many times she's been crying on the phone talking about she can't take no more? Her memory's so hardly there. Now, her long-term memory is okay, else she wouldn't know me. But her short-term memory? Well, let's say the longer the conversation you have on the phone with her, the less likely she's going to be able to recall what you started talking about when you first got on that phone, yo. You're going to have to remind her. And then we have a system that is trying to, then what they do is start talking about dementia. Baby, this ain't no dementia. Come on now. Come on. I have a family that work with this type of thing, and they, from what they tell me, this is not how it works. It is a long, drawn-out, slow process. It is not 1 year I get a jab and the next year I can't remember 2 days ago. She couldn't even remember getting the jab. I had to remind her. She told me, I didn't get it. Oh, honey, you sure did. Baby girl, you most certainly did. You see, when you know your friends, you know what is normal and what is not normal. I'm sorry. People, I think, want me to believe that you can lose your short-term memory overnight. Maybe your long-term, I don't know, maybe your long-term. How do you explain the short-term memory loss? Look, this is not what this video is about. We just rolling with the flow here, okay? I'm trying to show you that if you don't establish law of the land, this is what you have. You don't have a right to life. You don't have a right to your health. But yet Indians want to vote. They want to vote for Trump. And then they want to make videos defending Trump indemnifying police. I couldn't even go there with it because there's a point being missed in all of this. You can't complain about the police murders and then next week talk about, oh, but this is what he meant about indemnifying police. you're giving them freedoms, first of all, that they already have to shoot you. And somebody's talking about giving them even more. Like, when you do get hauled into court, don't worry, you ain't losing nothing. A lot of times they need to be fired. Yeah, hello. You can't live in what is supposed to be a free country and have your law enforcement running around gunning people down, and many times to the lethal extent, and say that you have a free country, and when they walk scot-free. You mean they're free? And we're not going there, but it's like, that's when I know something is wrong with Indians, yo. Something is terribly wrong when you want your colonizer, and you're championing the face, because it's not. I'm not saying Caucasians are the colonizer. That is the farthest thing from any of my messages where I have some more common sense downloaded. I know who started this, and I know it was a black nobility. Just get your Lee Cummings on, but you can't run with his narrative either, because then he's trying to make it like, oh no, they did this, but they didn't do this because they look like us. Okay, I'm going to say it again. There won't be two different. Well, actually, let me say it the right way. There are two different types of Indians. There's Indians that, no matter how much, how much they lose in terms of their rights, their benefits and privileges, because no one has rights. No matter how many of them they lose, these Indians are still going to be looking for colonizer, somebody that colonizer elects as their president to save them. Yeah, I said it. Yeah, I had to. Sorry. That is why I really do, some Indians indicate that if you're a certain age, you might not be suitable to help Indians get to freedom, because you're institution man, like Morgan Freeman. All you know was what colonizers got, and you think that that's all there is. Of course, he told you that's all there is. You see that structure that we're looking at? It's like a spherical thing. A lot of our Indians are trapped in something akin to that, and they don't realize there's a world outside of that thing. A world that they have not created. See, real gods and goddesses create. They don't live in somebody else's creation and say that this is the only way. There is no way. Oh, we can't do it that way. That's illegal. Well, wait a minute. You mean that's what your colonizer said is illegal? Have you ever been in charge? Do you recall being in charge while they are erasing your history? Do you recall ever being in charge? No. As long as you've lived since, I'd say since the 1400s, damn it. Let's go. Just take the whole extent of our colonization. You have no idea for what it's like to be free for at least 500 years. Okay, I just said it. I said it. I don't care. Because you don't. You don't. As a whole, you don't have any concept of being free. And then when Indians try to tell you how, you think they're the enemy. And you think they're crazy. And you think, what? You must be out your mind. I ain't doing that. Colonizer didn't say I could do that. Yeah, I know. That's why you're colonized. And if you can't get your mind right, baby, you're going to stay a slave. You got to know your rights, baby. You at least know what colonization is. If you don't know your rights, let's start with that. Because obviously, part of colonizers' agenda is to grab children, as we look at the children's part. And he rears them up to think that there's no way out of his system, as he laughs to the bank. How you doing, little birdie? I don't got no food. I'm sorry, I don't have it. If I did, I'd give it to you. All right? Unless you could eat a lifesaver. No? Can you? He says, nigga, are you crazy? Anyway. Yeah. As we were saying, two types of Indians. One that is way too not ready to leave slavery and want to hang on to some of the trappings of slavery. Well, why don't we just get in Congress? I mean, it sounds like the way to go, right? Here's what I want Indians to be try to be cognizant of the fact that you see that structure over there. That's look at that structure, and let's say colonizer built it. And let's say you've been in it so long, again, when you step out of it, you run back in fear because you think it's chaos. You think, oh, there's no order. Oh, these other Negroes are going to get me, and colonizer can't shoot them. When I'm in here, colonizer shoot that Negro right now, and that's the end of that. But when I step out here, there's just all these... No, I want colonizer system. Leave me alone. I'm going to vote. I don't care. I vote. That's what we've been doing for, the better part of 200 years. And it's actually getting worse. Now, how do I say that? All your voting got you a big fat vaccination, didn't it? Did you think you could vote that out, Indians? That's my question. So you saying we died to vote. Our people died to vote, right? But did your vote stop you from getting getting deaded? All the voting we've been doing, and it's actually getting worse. I think it's because we're the farthest away from the Constitution that we've ever been, and no one even knows that. So how did all the voting, all those years of voting, did it get better is the point. Did anything change, or is it getting worse? We are peaceful Indians. We don't advocate violence because we know too much about colonization to do that. And even Martin Luther King, or is his name Michael, they're saying, even he knew that he might have to deal with a little bit of pushback. Martin was leading his people, right? There were times when they were, they got the dogs sicked on them, right? There were times when they got the hose. They got hosed down. Yeah. Jet power water. Hose them down. These people come out in their nice clothes, because back then we kind of knew how to dress. Come out with your looking presentable for the camera. You know it's going to be on the news. Hose down. All that fine linen or whatever you got on, hose down. Ruins. Fuck them. Martin realized that freedom comes with a little bit of a pushback. What do we learn from Martin? Did we learn anything? So we think that it should be easy. Now that man put himself out there. He said he led us to a burning house afterwards, but when he thought he was leading us out of a burning house, he went all the way with it. We ain't had a minister like that in a while, have we? Martin may have been the only one that really put some action behind what he believed in his words, right? He didn't give it to Jesus and he can do it. Nah, he can fix it. Now, Martin was putting way too much work to depend on Jesus, although he was a minister. We're going to get pushback when we fight for what's right. When it's comfortable, watch out. When you feel comfortable in colonizer system, something ain't right, yo. Something ain't right. But when you stand up for what's right, like Martin did, you get a lot of people getting on board with you, right? But you gotta stand up first. You can't be sitting down talking about I'm a vote, or sitting down talking about I have a federal tribe living on a reservation. Indians didn't live on reservations. They lived on their ancestral land, and it was huge. It was huge. But when you're an institution man, you think, well, colonizers need a place to live too on my land. I'll take this little part over here so colonizers can have this whole big ass state. I'm just so happy that I found out I'm an Indian. I take anything. Anything. You throw me some bones, colonizer. I love you. And colonizer, he gives you a little bit of favoritism for a little while. Then when he feels like bringing in some immigrants, you don't have a footing to stop him. Why? Because you're in his little sphere. See that sphere over there that we were talking about? When you're in colonizer's sphere, you go by colonizer's rules no matter what you think. And when you do get something, he calls them benefits and privileges, not unalienable rights. You're not entitled to those in the colonizer's sphere, in his globe. That's kind of like looking like his globe. Right? So what is the solution? You have to get out of his system and be man and woman enough to create your own. What kind of laws you want to see? I gave you an idea already in the last video. We're not going to have any business that have you waive your birthright. Now, we're going to create what is akin to a constitution for Indians that, in fact, will be the law of the land. Yeah. It's going to be the law of the land because Indians are the only ones who can make it. And if you keep letting these fucking Moors tell you that they're you while they boo-loving on Morocco in Africa now, because they ain't talking about this Morocco anymore. And we figured out that they are bipolar because they think that a Morocco that originated in 1856 means that they were here in America from the foundation of America. Let me tell you, America goes beyond 1856. How come y'all forgot 7-Eleven? Y'all forgot that y'all was back there in 7-Eleven? And y'all, there was no Morocco here in America when you were in Africa where you belong? That's, you know why you belong there, Moors? Because that's what you claim. But then you want to backtrack and say, oh no, but when Pangea, we was in America. Are you hearing yourselves? Who the fuck is claiming Pangea? Even Europeans don't claim Pangea to be American. But then the most, they wasn't here because we didn't create them yet. Damn it. But we was here when Pangea was here. Yeah, well, how come you didn't tell those Spanish people that you were civilizing? The ones that you sent over here through Columbus? How come you didn't tell them this wasn't the New World? If you was here during Pangea. You see how your lies come and kick your fucking ass? A lot of more ass kicking is coming, Moors. And the good thing is it's going to be you kicking yourself in the fucking ass. With your confusion. Lying to get somebody's birthright. We're not having it. And the Indians who are having it, all you're going to do is put yourself in a lesser, hear me again, lesser standing on the land, because you going to be one part Indian, one part African, one part Asian, one part Spanish, one part European. You're going to be many things, yo. Many things. That's what the Moors bring. Many things. And then when he get enough of those things, guess what happens to your black ass? You are on the bottom of that dunghill. You are on the bottom. And that's when your Moor goes into hiding and got everybody thinking that you was the last stop of the monkey line. Yeah. And the Caucasian was the final stop of the monkey line. The full form of a man. That's what the Moors are giving you. But then when they show up now, they want to be like, oh, when we show up, y'all get upgraded to the white status or something like that. But you already gave that away, didn't you? The Moors have a lot to explain, and they will not be able to explain it because it's bullshit. I still can't see, even people who know about the Moors, when they read something like I read, you still get, because of the lies are being they're so bold-faced. Well, I'm going to go with the Morocco in America because that's the oldest one. Yeah, it's older than the one in Africa, but it's too young for your history, boo. It's too young for you to establish jurisdiction, my dog. Because you was hanging out in Spain, remember? When you went up from Africa and into Spain, because that's what the story is saying. It's so confusing that I think they're trying to say, no, we were in Spain already. But no, the story is like you came up from the pits of hell in Africa and started, making a hand puppet that you could send over here to America while you hide until the big reveal. Oh my God, it's a big Negro that was in charge all these years. Oh my God, that means that was us. No, it wasn't you. It's your worst nightmare. It's your worst enemy. It's your doppelganger. Trying desperately to take what you have. He want Africa. He want Europe. He got all of that, right? He had all of that. But it's not enough. He needs what belongs to everybody, including his quote-unquote brother. Yeah, he's going to steal from you too. As I was saying in the last video, if we were brothers, whatever I had was yours. But because brotherhood has nothing to do with what happened between Moors and American Indians. Whatever it was, brotherhood was lost, y'all. Why? How do we know that? Because the Moors had to come back with using other people of the world, other races, to do his dirty work, telling them that we're the new world and that so we don't know nothing about his religion. Yeah, because back in the day, in the real old world, we didn't know nothing about this religion you talking about, yo. That is a new creation by factions of Moors and the priesthood, which is one and the same, basically. It's a priesthood. And if you really pay attention, this whole thing is being run on a religious narrative. And the thing where really, like I told you before, it really pisses me off that so many American Indians are Christians and they're still not saved from oppression. So then you're not forgiven. If you're forgiven in heaven, but it don't make a damn bit of difference on earth, what the freak is oh, you got to die first. Right. Oh, yeah, maybe that's why the shots were administered. See what happens when you sign in on somebody else's system, co-sign on that system? Do you want to establish law of the land or do you not? Because if you don't, you're going to fall right back into the same old BS. Y'all got to think outside the box. And the funny thing is, it don't take a rocket scientist to think that out, because I am not a rocket scientist. My mother had common sense. I done told y'all this. So, we are at the 29-minute mark, about a half hour. As you can see, this is a lunchtime chit-chat. But I kind of intended to give a sort of a preview of the next video. So we've been looking at the Constitution and comprehending what it means now that we have eyes. We have ancestors' eyes. That's the beauty of our ancestors that have crossed over. They are doing the most, y'all. But they can only do it with those who are looking for the most of their freedom. They can't do it with Indians who want to remain slaves, because those Indians think that there's something in this system that is going to save them, and there isn't. If there was something in this system for you, you wouldn't be called black in the first place. Now, as you're finding out who you are, and you see anybody in the system jumping to say, "Oh yeah, that's what you are," you still feel like you're in a echo chamber, and nobody hears you except anyone who's in your echo chamber with you, right? Everybody in the outside world is like, we don't know what the fuck you talking about. Pretty much, right? Ain't nothing happened. It's just us, and thanks to this MTA campaign, well, I will say something got out. I'll be very honest with you, that's the very first thing that I saw that kind of lets me know that the message is out there. In the time of awakening, that's the first thing I've seen in the time of the awakening. That's sort of saying that these quote unquote Negroes are the original Americans. And then the Moors right there is going to take those accolades right from you as soon as you get them. Why do you think you've been on a genocide trajectory in this system? Because somebody wants you gone so that somebody else can take your place. And once they convince you that you're one of them, well, they won't need you anymore, right? Because you're them. So why are you still here? If I'm you and you are me, then you can go, right? So I said it before, there's only going to be one kind of American Indian in America, and that's the one who identifies, that has no kind of narrative that is Moorish, no kind of Moorish doctrine. And if they do, they're going to say, yeah, well, that works in Morocco, but not in America. Unfortunately, if I want to live under my Moroccan background, I'm going to have to go to Morocco to do it. Because why the hell should Morocco have any say in America when they've sat here claiming to have been around since 7-11, saw what's going on in America? Yeah, they've been watching the entire time. They're the ones that set this whole thing in motion. When you read that document, what I should have focused on the fact that he's saying the Moors had a consular court, right? But they also saying that they set up this two-system government for them and Europeans. So then why did you need a consular court if the system you set up was for you and Europeans or Negropeans, you and Europeans? Why did you need a consular court? Was that supposed to psych Indians into thinking that you set up something for them when you knew damn well it was you who set it up and it would never work for American Indians because you are a part of it? That's what I'm saying, American Indians. If you want something that is yours, like your land, it better be just you, or else you ain't getting your land. Because when you include a Moor, he's going to bring his family. He loves to mix and match with the people of the earth. But the problem with that is that once he does that, then he wants to bring them all here. Like we're seeing exactly what's happening, right? So anyway, what we want to talk about is the next video that we do is going to talk, and I'm not going to show you. I was going to show you, but I don't want to jump the gun. But we're going to find out why the Constitution failed. Did y'all realize that there's a website dedicated to the Constitution, and so they must be Constitution professionals, right? Because it's a Constitution website. You'll see it. I don't want to say it. I want to just show you when I do it. But in other words, I'm going to say it, but I'm not going to show you. So did you realize that according to the pros, the first Constitution was a failure? I guess that they didn't have enough states yet. That Constitution was for the small time. Then the next two Constitutions is They had their sights on your entire birthright, the whole entire North America. So that's why the first Constitution don't mean nothing, because that was only speaking about 13 colonies. We got quite a fright when we realized that the Bill of Rights was just an amendment that is not in the first Constitution. Now, again, I tried to say this, but you know, it's a little hard if you don't really follow this stuff and you just think, oh, all constitutions are the same. Stop talking about it. Well, the first one did not have a Bill of Rights, and it didn't have any amendments. So it's not the same. So you go from an original document to some fraudulent secondary document that is introducing a Bill of Rights. So what that spoke to me was that, baby, we never promised you a rose garden. Oh, if the Bill of Rights wasn't in the original Constitution, they're really not as legitimate as you might think. Yeah, you know what? Ancestors don't play. They just take you right there. They're not trying to drag their feet and, pussyfoot and make it easy. Make it like, talk it pretty. In the original contract with the foreigners, there is no Bill of Rights. Let that sink in for a minute. That's like when you have a contract. Like, we do this all the time with using a cable company. You got a contract with HBO or whatever. This is not talking bad about HBO, just using you as an example. And you have basic cable, right? Then HBO does some kind of restructuring, and it's not really HBO anymore, although you think it is, like it is with the Constitution. So, yeah. So, let's say you have home box office. Let's go, okay, scratch that last idea. Let's go home box office. Okay, because this is a tactic that is actually used with governmental agencies. Okay? And corporations. They're both the same. The way a corporation acts is exactly how the government acts. And what we say, they want you to waive your rights. I fought for these rights just to have them waived. Are you kidding me? So there's a clue. In an Indian system, again, you're going to want to, when you stand up and build your system like a real man or woman should, who's not a slave, you're going to say, nah. And the law of the land in America by real American Indians is that we don't allow people to waive our rights. No, we don't. No, we don't. But anyway, so you sign up with the home box office, right? You got basic cable, right? Then home box office becomes HBO, and you think it's the same thing, and it's a whole entirely different entity, right? And now they're going to give you premium, right? Or, or you're going to ask for whatever. But now premium is on the plate. That wasn't in your original contract with home box office. But let's say, perchance, they wanted you to reach for another contract because there was something in that original contract that wasn't quite right without the 14th Amendment. Hello. There was something in the first Constitution that wasn't quite right? It didn't have a 14th Amendment. And it didn't know nothing about slaves. Uh-oh. That's a drop the ancestors dropped in my lap. Thank you, ancestors. Love you. Could it be that at the time of the original Constitution, there was no slaves? But then somehow, by the next one, we're talking about emancipation laws and you need a 14th Amendment. Did they turn indentures into slaves in their narrative with their word spells? We can't be sure. But again, to go back to our example, you come up with something brand new and you make it appealing because you have premium channels now. But you've changed from home box office to HBO. So now you make the slaves, because that's what they're going to end up being. That now the slaves want some of them Bill of Rights, right? But they have to give up the old contract to get those Bill of Rights. And with that Bill of Rights comes the 14th Amendment. Are you hearing what I'm saying, Indians? Are you listening? Rewind what I just said. Because the ancestors, they didn't come here to play today. Once again, they didn't come to play for Indians who want their freedom for real, right? And one thing the ancestors know about me, baby boy wants nothing but freedom for himself. Nothing but. So they have a ball with me when I start talking this talk. Because the next thing is walking that walk. You got to know what freedom is to know where you're going. So basically, the ancestors just showed us how one constitution is inferior to another. The first constitution didn't have no 14th Amendment, so there was no slaves, okay? There were no slaves at the time of the first constitution, because there was no 14th Amendment. The North decided to reimagine the South as a slave farm. They were the little word spells. They started talking about why the South needs to be checked, right? Meanwhile, you knew what was going on in the South with that first agreement, because that's when you had a full quorum, so you knew exactly what was going on in the South, right? I hope somebody's hearing me, because you know what? I'm saying shit, and I'm not even keeping up with it. It's just coming out, yo. I welcome the ancestors. Drop it on me, ancestors. Drop it on me. Just drop it on me. But you know, we have short attention spans, right, ancestors? Indians don't want to watch no video that's no damn over 30 minutes. And already we try, they starting to get fidgety, right? Right, ancestors? Hello.